revisit the issue of election of MMDCs. And I think the time is now. When we have an almost hanged parliament, the party and the government must make do their promise by starting the process again. And I want to believe that this time around, they will secure the required support or consensus so we'll be able to move the process forward. What we should know is that in amending the constitution, there are two things involved. Amendment for the president amendment for DCs to be elected is one thing, and then amendment for them to be elected on partisan basis is the other thing. Amendment for DCs to be elected does not require a referendum. So I'll plead with Parliament that when it comes, they should give us the two-thirds majority. The amendment for them to be elected on partisan basis requires a referendum, so the citizens, to when it comes, let us support it if need be. Because when you look at our governance structure, that is the only deficit in our democracy. National level president is elected on partisan. Members of parliament are elected on partisan basis. Assembly members are even elected. We say not partisan, but some parties hide behind it. So why don't we go all out? And my proposal will be, let us elect chief executives on partisan basis, abolish government appointee in district assemblies, and elect all the assembly members. Then from national through to local government, we have all elective. By this, we'll have the citizens fully participating in democracy. If not, and we continue with this arrangement, then it means we are doing well in democracy at the national level, but local democracy is suffering.
Meanwhile, mixed reactions greeted the nomination of the MMDCEs, and we are learning that in the northern region, some party supporters have registered their displeasure with nominations. My correspondent in the northern region, Murtala Isa, joins us on the phone with more. Murtala, glad you could join us. We've received pictures of agitations in Tripoli. Is that the true reaction of the people since the name was dropped?
Exactly. These are images from yesterday following the announcement by the president. Some youth of the community, Cherpini, started agitating, and they destroyed the party office in the community. So that is a development. We have the Cherpini is in the northeast region. It used to be in the northern region, but when they redemarcated the former northern region, Cherpini fell under the northeast region. So we have issues in the northeast, that is Cherpini district, and then I am hearing of some concerns from the East Mapusi district around Sakogu and Bintiri as well. So these are the problems. In the northern region proper, where we have 16 districts now, we do not have any issues with regards to the nominations from party foot soldiers or communities rejecting nominees. The challenge we do have here is that some civil society organizations are questioning the issue of gender balance. If you look at the northern region, 16 districts, only one of these 16 is a woman. That is the Sablugu municipality, and it's someone who, she's the only person who has been retained. To give you a perspective to understand this better, in the last administration, again under Nanado, we had Sablugu, we had Tolong, we have Sanarugu municipality, all headed by female district chief executives. Even that, civil society organizations were concerned that it wasn't enough. But this time around, they've dropped 2 women, leaving only 1. And that for civil society organizations here is not good enough.
Murtala, what is the party leadership in the region doing to address this concern?
I am aware that they have been speaking with some their supporters. They have been speaking with them to calm them down, asking them that they should accept the president's nomination and allow the district assemblies to do their work of confirming or rejecting these people, so that they should follow the democratic process. So as we speak, the situation in Cherpini has calmed down. East Mapusi as well. We know there are police officers on the ground to maintain law and order. So the situation has calmed down, and party executives are also speaking with their men, their supporters on the ground, to follow democratic processes.
Murtala, ahead of the nominations, we know in the past residents in Tamale were not happy with Honorable Musa, his style of leadership. They've raised a lot of concerns. Are they satisfied now that the president has nominated a different person?
Within Tamale, the Tamale metropolis, led by Sule Salifu, like say he's very much a grassroots person. Has contested and won various leadership positions within the party in the region. He was a regional secretary of the NPP, currently the coordinator of the Youth Employment Agency. And he's worked with the rank and file of the party in the region, and somebody you can describe as a grassroots person and widely accepted by the party people here. Since the announcement yesterday, we've not had any agitations. We've not had any agitation. Also, before even the announcement, some way back, about 3 months ago, we started having confirmation from certain key individuals in the region that Sule was going to be the one to get the nod. And with regards to Musa Superior, it basically has to do with his introduction of what he called the Tamale Project. He wanted to instill discipline, clean up the metropolis, and ensure that people do the right thing. But unfortunately, like in most parts of this country, people are not willing to stay within the boundaries of the law. And that is how he had issues with his party executives, as well as even some traditional rulers in the region. But if you ask me from where I stand, objectively, Musa Superior wasn't out for anything bad. There is indiscipline in town, and any serious mayor would want to follow his steps.
Murtala, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on developments in the northern region as well as the northeast region following the nomination of MMDCs by President Akufo-Addo on Sunday. Now, let's head to the Bono region, where correspondent John Sam Arthur also joins us with details as to how people are reacting since the release of the names by the sector minister yesterday. John, glad you could join us.
My pleasure.
John, how are residents reacting to the nominations? Are they happy with it, or they are raising concerns?
Basically, the main sentiment that we can talk of is surprise. This is because in the Bono region, out of 12 district executives, only 3 were retained, and all the others are new faces. And the similar thing also happened to the Bono East region, where out of 11 districts, 4, only 4 were retained. And then the surprising thing to happen is that all the 6 DCEs were maintained. So for now, there's been no reaction, no major negative reactions to the nomination list. It's just a lot of surprises here and there, but people are taking it in their stride. It's early days yet, but for now, nothing untoward has happened as a result of the release of the nomination list. But the other interesting thing is that the 3 old former Bono regions used to have about 5 women DCEs. But with this new list coming out, only 1 has been retained for Bono region and 1 for the Bono East. And half region has no women DCEs at all. So from 5 lady DCEs in the 3 regions, we have come to a situation where we now have only 2 ladies in the list.
John Samantha, from what you're telling me, I'm getting the impression that when the confirmation process finally starts, the nominees will not be having much hurdle to cross.
Well, on the contrary, this morning we got a release from the Association of Assembly Members, and they are threatening that there are members who are owed ex gratia. If they are not paid, if the arrears in ex gratia are not paid, then they are not going to okay the nominees. So their approval of the nominees will depend on the payment of ex gratia owed some of their members. So apart from that, so far I'm not seeing any hurdle for the DCEs, because the region did not do very well, in the last election, and so most people were expecting that new faces were going to come on board, because it's like the old faces disappointed the president and the party by way of the way the election went last time around in 2020. So apart from this threat from the assembly members that they're going to use this exercise to press for the payment of affairs in that so far it doesn't look like there's going to be too much apart from this.
Okay, thank you so much for the latest from the Bono region. John Samartha is our Bono regional correspondent and has also been bringing us up to speed on the reactions since the nomination of the MMDCEs on Sunday. Let's go to the central region where Kofi Sechama Pobi also has been following up on the reactions of the residents since the nomination yesterday. Kofi, glad you could join us. What greeted the nomination of the MMDCs yesterday?
Well, good afternoon, Raman. Definitely, such nominations comes with passion, with rancor, with anger, and with vested interest. Let me give you a gist of the central region, how it has become a hybrid region with regards to some of the districts. Because we have some districts which have about 5 or 4 towns, joining together to become one district. For example, we have the AEK, that is the Abra Asibu Kwamankese district. So it means that there are vested interests within the parties, especially with the nominees. Definitely people from the AEK or Abra would believe that their candidate must come from this area. And when you go to Commander Edna Guafwabi, Commander is the whole town of his own, Edina is there, so that kind of vested interest when it comes to nomination. So I can tell you that there is mixed reactions. The people that I spoke to, some of them were expectant that indeed they retain the seats, especially in some of the MMDCs. They realize that maybe they've done a good job, a yeoman's job, especially when it comes to development of their areas, especially social amenities provision. So they thought that the president could retain, but that is just unfortunate that most of them. So I can tell you that out of the 222 MMDCs that we have in the region, only 8 were retained. Only 8. One can be attributed to what I've narrated earlier on with regards to Cape Coast, especially with the voting pattern. I think in our analysis, we have come to the realization that the seats that were lost. 2016, the region gave the incumbent party a whooping victory when it comes to parliamentary seats. But during the 2020 elections, most of them lost their seats. In Cape Coast, for instance, they have retained the mayor, that is Ernest Atta. The reason is being that he contested for the seat of the Cape Coast South. Though he did not win, he made some inroads. And then they voted what we call in this political parlance the skirt and blouse. So it means Nanado got wind of the people within the Cape Coast North and Cape Coast South when it comes to Cape Coast. So definitely they gave them hope to still be in power. So that is the reason, and some of the analysis that we are doing around that maintains some of them. So far, out of the 22, only 8 were retained. Ramon.
So do you foresee some of the nominees finding challenges when the confirmation process starts?
Well, if you have been following political terrain for a very long time, the work that we have been doing over the years, most definitely, there are certain areas that, especially when we talk about Commander Enagwafu Abrim, that's the key municipality, that seat has been won by the NDC over the years. It was even during President Kufuor's time that the change came around. So definitely, when you go to the assembly, you realize that most of them, though politically they are not supposed to wear certain colors, they are inclined to certain political parties and affiliations. So definitely there may be that kind of challenge. But all that the regional minister, Justina Marigold, when he met some of the press, is saying that at least the president has nominated people. In his wisdom, he believes that these people can also support his cause, especially with the development at the local level, which is very important. So they are urging them that the assembly to vote massively for such people. But that notwithstanding, Raman, definitely there may be challenges. We can even go through third time before some of them will be elected. So as for that one, we are pursuing that. It will definitely happen because that is politics for you, Raman.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on the reactions since the release of a list containing the nominees for the MMDCEs. In some of the day's other stories, 30th September is the deadline to pull down the Budumburam Liberian camp at Kaswa. Structures on the 141-acre land acquired at the time by the UNHCR and Ghana Refugee Board are to be raised down to create the needed space for redevelopment. There are mixed sentiments on the upcoming demolition exercise by the chiefs of Guinea, but ahead of that, GBC News will premiere its latest documentary on the area, which has been titled The Budumburam Camp, The Life Within and Proposed Demolition. But first, here are excerpts from the documentary.
At least more extended to 6 months or 1 year. And every time
Ghana hosted us was a scratch. Everybody refused us.
You got refugees here, hostage. You told us to be integrated. You were going to relocate up here somewhere else. Since 2013 up to this person.
In 1990, it was a safe haven for refugees fleeing the atrocities and persecution in their homeland, Liberia. Over 3 decades on, migration has metamorphosed the location into a cosmopolitan community with people from different cultures, languages and country residing there. In the eyes of residents, it's still a refugee camp, but to custodians of the land, it is a den for criminals, denting the image of Guinea. The Budumburam camp, the life within, and possible demolition.
You don't want to miss this. Stay with us right after the news. We'll be bringing out the full documentary, which will contain all the details and have a fair idea of what authorities want to do with that parcel of land. Now, in other developments, the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces is sure the ongoing fight against illegal mining will be won. The issue came up at an anti-terrorism training exercise dubbed Operation Flaming Spears. It was aimed at sharpening the skills of officers and men as well as testing their readiness to thwart any security threats.
Involved soldiers from the 3rd Battalion in Sunyani, the 4th Battalion in Kumasi, and personnel from the Ghana Police Service, the Immigration Service, and the National Ambulance Service. It is to ensure that the security agencies are not caught off guard in times of security threat to the nation. Led by the General Officer commanding the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Joseph Apo, the training included a simulation in which the Chief Operations Officer, Colonel Emmanuel Jidu, said an informant had hinted a Bui Power Authority BPA security official that a crack team of tag explosive experts trained to sabotage operations intended to attack the BPA. He also said a distress call had been received from the night shift manager that he and 2 other staff members had been kidnapped by 3 suicide bombers and were being held hostage in one of the rooms near the cranes on the turbines. He said the kidnappers were threatening to blow them up if the suspects in police custody were not released within 2 hours. It was therefore the duty of the security forces to rescue the hostages and arrest the terrorists.
We had intelligence that a group of them had held some of our people hostage at a village called Bofukum, and they are demanding ransoms from the relatives of the hostages. Based on sound intelligence, we conducted an operation that was yesterday, and we were able to rescue the hostages successfully. And unfortunately, some of the suspects lost their lives.
The general officer commanding the Ghana Armed Forces and the commanders of the battalion supervised the exercise. Speaking in an interview with GBC News, he explained that such exercises are crucial in keeping the troops battle ready. He assured Ghanaians of their readiness to counter any terrorist threat and win the fight against illegal mining in the Bui enclave and elsewhere in the country.
A 7-unit accommodation facility for personnel of the Edra Fire Station in the Ashanti region has been inaugurated. At the official handing over ceremony, the Director of Logistics at the Ghana National Fire Service, DCFO, Boachi, appealed for fire stations in districts without one in the Ashanti region. This, she said, would enable fire officers to respond to fire incidents on time.
To insufficient accommodation, majority of fire officers posted to the Edra municipality are compelled to look for their own accommodation outside their station. To address this challenge, the Edra Traditional Council funded the building of the 7-unit housing facility to accommodate personnel of the service. The Traditional Council has also made available a parcel of land for the construction of a fire service staff college in the municipality.
Assassin, are you ready? And home crater, you're ready. And check, you're about to hand it over. I'm our headquarters.
The Director of Logistics at Ghana National Fire Service, DCFO Heroin Boachi, said the gesture by the Traditional Council is timely because accommodation for staff of the service is a major challenge across the country. She asked for more fire stations to beef up the 23 stations and 5 fire posts in the Ashanti region.
19 political districts are without fire stations in this region, Ashanti region. The safety cover of these districts are provided by the closest fire station in other districts. This affects our response time, especially in instances where the distance between the nearest fire station and incident ground is far. We wish to use this platform to appeal to all stakeholders, especially the respective municipal and district assemblies, to aid in the construction of fire stations in such districts.
She commended the station for rolling out a fire safety intensification programs to acquaint the officers with modern techniques in firefighting. From January to 15th of this month, the Ashanti region has recorded 787 fire outbreaks as compared to 936 within the same period last year.
Even though the contractor on the 100-kilometer stretch of the Bolgatanga-Boku-Pulmakom road project left site recently, he is back and working on the bridge on the Black Volta. Other projects scheduled for reconstruction include the bridge on the White Volta and the bridge on the Kula River that connects Bolgatanga Municipal and Bolgatanga East District. Our Upper East Regional correspondent Samuel Ayama has more to tell us.
The much talked about Boga-Boko-Pulmakom road is almost complete. The road, which has over the years been described by many as a death trap, is now more trouble. The Bogatanga-Boko-Pulmakom road has over the years been in a deplorable state and has always been the dream of the people to get it fixed by successive governments. The Bogatanga-Boko-Pulmakom road has been in a state of despair for a long time, and the people have had high expectations of seeing the road constructed. The road passes through 7 districts and 9 constituencies. 3 bridges will be constructed along the road on the Black Volta, the White Volta, and the Kula River. Residents in the communities and towns along the Bogatanga-Boko-Pulmakom road, including Sarungu, Congo, Nangodi, Chile, Zebila, Kobore, Bazua, Boku, among others, have all heaved a huge sigh of relief following the construction of the road, and they have all commended government for the timely intervention. Today, we are on the road to speak with some of the commuters and the drivers who ply the road on a daily basis.
Yes, I've been using this road regularly, but because of work, I can see that they are doing good. There's progress, working on the bridge. Actually, I think it will help. Also reduce the robbery cases.
Now you can use about 1 hour 30 minutes and get to Boko or Kosanaba and Bar our Guinea fowls. When in the first town of the mission, you can use 2 hours or 2.5 hours for this route. But this time is now good. The government have done well for this route.
Contractors are doing very well, and I'm impressed about it. I also pray that they should keep on the work that they have been doing over here, so that they will finish the road in very short time, so that we will be able to use it very well.
For a long time, and we have not been seeing any improvement like this. But far as these contractors have come, we have seen a lot of improvement. But we also pray that the good Lord will still assist them to also do a better work than this, and it will be faster, so that it can help us divert from the accidents that we have been seeing all the time on this road.
But now we thank Almighty Allah. It's good for us now. But we are waiting for the government to do more for us. We thank everybody.
But now the road is fine. So first they can take 2 hours before Walaga. But now just 1 hour.
Generally, the project is anticipated to reduce and improve waiting and travel times within the Bogatanga and Boku environs, with consequent reduction in poverty and enhanced development in Ghana upon completion. Good road infrastructure is a critical facilitator of rapid socio-economic development of every nation through the improvement of accesses, reduction in travel times, congestion, vehicle operating costs, and accidents. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting.
In the Eastern region, 2 communities, Adon Konta and Supriso, now have access to the internet. This means inhabitants, especially women, can show their skills in a digital economy and also lead the charge for change. Now, with the internet centers established by the Hunger Project in collaboration with Bluetown Wi-Fi, education and ICT would be prioritized in these communities.
Old girls ever more digitally dependent, more and more of life's necessary activities have moved online, and those with slow, unreliable, or even no connection are rapidly at a growing disadvantage. For those living in rural and remote areas, and youth especially, access to the internet is the way out of isolation, a pathway to education and wider opportunities. The well-equipped internet centers at Adonkwanta and Supriso would be a lasting social, economic and transformative impact in the lives of the people, especially women and the youth. The Hunger Project has existed since 1995 and is empowering community partners to end hunger and poverty. It was a collaboration with the Bluetown Wi-Fi to set up these internet centers using the Sustainable Community-Based Program with the Epicenter Strategy, which is a dynamic center of community mobilization and action. The country director of the Hunger Project, Mr. Michael Afrani, elaborates further.
I would want to appeal to the youth in these rural communities that as these facilities have been established and we are launching it today, you will seize this opportunity and use the internet facility. A lot of information are up there, and the Bluetown has put a lot of educational information in agriculture, in health, and in other areas on the cloud, which these youth can access.
Mr. Michael Afrani said access to the internet in these communities would also improve the livelihoods of the indigents, hence creating a path toward sustainable self-reliance.
In our culture, our women are relegated to the background. But now, through this program, we want to make the women agents of development, or central agents of development. And so this is the time to also avail yourself to this digital system that has been placed here.
Through its integrated approach to rural development, the Epicenter strategy, the Hunger Project is working with partners to successfully access the basic services needed to achieve the sustainable development goals and lead lives of self-reliance. For GBC News, Ofeyiwa Dakon report.
Back in Accra, the Deputy General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Mr. Emmanuel Benima, has appealed to the government to prioritize technical and vocational education in the country. According to him, the country's universities cannot absorb all students who wish to further their studies, hence the need to support technical and vocational institutions with the needed infrastructure and logistics to admit more students.
White-collar jobs have resulted in countless unemployment in the country. For most senior high school graduates, university education seems to be a preferred choice to that of the technical or vocational education, even if they have some skills that can be developed. The Deputy General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU Ghana, Mr. Emmanuel Benima, noted that vocational and technical skills programs are important and practical areas that government needs to support to help the youth to acquire employable skills.
Advanced countries have started with this and they are well to do today. So if this goal are also supported, we will be there.
At the 17th graduation of the Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, GABA, 126 youth graduated in cosmetology and hairdressing. The Acting Director General of the Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, CTVET, Dr. Fred Samoa, urged the graduates to help create more jobs by employing their peers.
TVET is not only about proficiency in English or maths, but it's a critical aspect of your learning. Technical and vocational education is a lifelong learning thing.
The Greater Accra Regional President of the Ghana Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, GABA, Madame Beatrice Asantua Sante, tasked the graduates to make good use of the training they have received in order to meet current trends in the cosmetology and hairdressing industries. The graduates who were selected from 10 zones within the Greater Accra region received a 3-year training in cosmetology and hairdressing.
It's still News Hour live on GBC News and GTV. We are also live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. The news continues after this break.